dear ones, it's Hannah. So, here is my second installment from my trade session that I had last week with my dear friend and fellow practitioner Jen Fisher in California. So much amazing information came through in this session. This one, this snippet is all about how to increase our light quotient, growing the humanity within us, the intense energy that's going on and why it's there. Also, taking sort of just a sampling of where we are in the collective conscious right now, on a scale of our trajectory of where we're headed and where we've come from, and some about the event in Solar Flash. So I hope you enjoy this.
So, in what ways are humanity raising their light? What's the process look like?
So the process, they're saying, was also echoed in your session. It's about looking inward, really examining who you are and why you think and feel the way you do. And if that is true and if that feels good, and if it doesn't, then making a conscious choice to shift it. Living from your core truth and essence, which is always aligned with love, outwardly towards others and inwardly towards yourself. And once we really embody that, living from a heart-centered place, both in an outward and an inward direction, there will not be anything else to heal. So this process of growing our light as humanity involves each of us being willing to look inward and heal the things that are holding us back, or that feel heavy or challenging or dark or discordant. Being willing to take responsibility for ourselves and for our actions towards ourselves and others. And in the taking of that responsibility, and in being aligned with our core essence, then we act with greater levels of integrity and love and compassion and understanding. And this is how humanity heals. But there is, at this time in the world, much challenge and strife because so many of these energies that don't feel good, that don't feel resonant with our core truth, that are lower vibrational, that harm ourselves or others, have been festering for so long unchecked because we didn't have the impetus or stimulus to need to look inside. And so part of the twisting of the springs right now, that feeling of the energy getting more intense and more uncomfortable and tighter, less safe, is in an effort to help to cause this seeking, internal seeking of greater levels of truth and alignment within.
So, can you see humanity as a whole? Where are we now on a scale of consciousness or awareness?
Yeah, so on a scale of 1 being like completely checked out, dark ages, you're really far from where you're headed, to 10 being you exist in the 5th dimension and above, like from that new earth, expansive love, unity place. We are collectively like almost 4, around 4, 3.82 is what they said.
Goodness.
But they're pointing out that that is a huge shift from where we were not long ago.
Mm-hmm.
And like not long ago, like earlier in the 1900s, we were more like at a 2.
Mm-hmm.
Or I think they're saying 2.3. Like we've done a tremendous amount of growth, but the growth is exponential and it's not linear. And so just because we're, say, a 4 out of 10 now, doesn't mean in another 2 months we're not going to be an 8 out of 10 or higher. It's just, and that they're explaining is where there tends to be a lot of resistance in naming where things are now, because it lowers people's vibrations when they get deflated thinking they have so much further to go, and it actually impedes their expansion or growth.
Is there an event or a series of events that are coming that will help humanity raise their score on the scale?
There are so many, they're saying, and they're not just like waves of energy from the sun. They're showing me like actual events on Earth. They're all over, but there is a lot of focus on this US election, and they're showing me like physical events that are leading up to the time of the election that are, they're giving me the example of like 9/11, when the World Trade Centers fell. But even though there was so much heartbreak and damage and sadness and loss at that time, it also opened people's hearts in a huge way and was a huge step up for humanity. And so, even though smaller events like that, not to minimize that event, but events like that might feel challenging in the moment, but the greater purpose is that it helps to unify and awaken people's hearts. They were telling me something about that the sort of solar flash people talk about isn't a given.
Okay, yeah, let's go there.
They were saying that the energy that is coming to the earth from outside sources, from the sun, from other loving beings, from source itself, that's a given, and it is high these days, and it's going to continue to raise. And they're showing me it's like being pulsed. Like, there's times when it's higher and times when it's not as high, but the pulses are very fast paced. And so there is still a possibility of a greater solar flash, but it almost feels like it's less of a possibility, or if it's a possibility, it feels like it's after the election, like later November is what it sort of feels like if it happens.
So what determines then whether this solar flash would take place or not?
They're just saying it's if it's needed for humanity. And right now it seems like it's about a 4 out of 10 possibility. Like it's less than 50%, but still a possibility.
So does that mean that inevitably we will reach the top of that scale? It just is dependent upon how we get there?
Yes, absolutely. That is what is happening. and that is humanity's trajectory. Though there are varied routes, some are more circuitous than others. And that the route that is navigated ultimately is a collective choice when you're looking at the greater collective route, though there are individuals who will be finding themselves much there or much closer to there far before the collective. And it is those individuals who are, in essence, creating the template for where we're heading and the timeline. So as more individuals rise into that lightness, that's being synonymous with the higher vibrations, like lightness. As more individuals rise into that, it creates more of a draw for the collective, sort of like the 100th monkey theory. Once more people do it, then it becomes more second nature in the subconscious.
So every time we get together, it is just so packed with awesome information that comes through. And this was, I'm really glad I got to share this all with you. Seems like such a perfect time for this to be coming forward. And I have more to share still, so you can enjoy that in the weeks to come. My name is Hannah Fogg. I'm a Beyond Quantum Healing practitioner in the state of Maine in the United States, and I get to see clients and do this with them, people from all over the world, through the wonders of the internet. And so if you have any interest in learning more or reaching out to have a session for yourself, I will list my website below. And please feel free to reach out anytime with any questions or to book a session. I would love to talk to you. All right, take care and lots of love. Bye.